Hello guys, welcome to another webinar from Mind Browser. Today we are going to talk about the topic beyond the hype of proximity marketing. The webinar will enable you to learn about what is proximity marketing and why probably it is the next big thing, how to create a proximity marketing campaign, the best, we'll check out some of the best case studies in proximity marketing, and towards the end we will talk about some of the to-dos and not to-dos in proximity marketing if you are planning a proximity marketing campaign. So here we start talking about proximity marketing. So what is exactly proximity marketing? Proximity marketing is localized wireless distribution of advertisement. Proximity marketing is also known as hyperlocal marketing, which uses cellular technology or any technology to send marketing messages to mobile devices. So this is all what constitutes proximity marketing. Transmissions can be received by individuals in that location who wish to receive them and have the necessary equipment to do so. This is a more technical definition of proximity marketing. Though at its simplest, I would say proximity marketing is act of advertisement to customers based on their location, based on their context through a mobile device. So that is what proximity marketing is about. So here you see a nice picture, quick nice picture about what and how proximity marketing could look like. So how exactly does it work? So deploy energy Wi-Fi beacons in your store and other points of interest. That would be the first step towards building proximity marketing. Create your proximity targeted campaign and content through the intuitive web console. So probably you'll have some sort of a admin dashboard or some sort of a configuration tool through which you can create your campaign, including like the coupons you want to give, the information that you want to send. And then the steps you would be send proximity targeted offers to your customers when they are near the store or they are at a particular point where you want them that message to be sent. So this is what proximity marketing constitutes about. And here I would like to break one myth that proximity marketing is not just beacons, but proximity marketing has been here probably since last few decades. Basically, proximity marketing includes Wi-Fi, proximity marketing includes GPS, NFC, geofencing, and iBeacons. Although I would like to add here that with the advent of beacons and with the advent of better technology and smartphone, yes, proximity marketing has definitely shooted up in interest. And probably it said that beacons are predicted to influence up to one in every $4 spent in retail stores in 2016 and 17. So that's the sort of an opportunity that we are looking at when it comes to proximity marketing. So here we try and understand furthermore about why proximity marketing is the next big thing. So here are some statistics that has been revealed in research that when retail customers have started visiting a store that has been strengthened by proximity marketing, 53% of customers are willing to share their current location to receive more relevant advertisement. 57% of consumers are more likely to engage with location-based advertisement, and 62% of consumers share local deals with their friends further once they receive it. So that's how proximity marketing is actually changing the whole scenario, the whole business of retail. We all know how retail has been hit hard by the online medium, the Amazons and the Flipkarts. But what proximity marketing has given here is an opportunity for retailers as well to work on similar kind of campaigns that online retailers do and create engagements, create loyalty, create the whole experience of shopping, and not just someone walking into the store and buying what he needs, but probably giving an opportunity of showing him or her like what the store has to offer. So that's where and that's why there's so much interest into proximity marketing. In fact, I like to shoot another statistics here that beacons will probably directly influence over $4 billion worth of US retail sales in 2015, and that number will climb tenfold to $44 billion in 2016. So that's the kind of statistics I've come across while researching for this presentation. That being said, I'd also like to quote Black Nordstrom, president of Nordstrom. What he said in 2014 is the pace of change is accelerating faster than we anticipated a year ago. So that's how fast things are changing when it comes to proximity marketing, when it comes to investment into new initiatives, because the retailers already know that there is so much interest, there is so much. Now, if they don't do it, probably the competitors are already doing it, and the customers are already have already given their attention to the mobile phone. So there's no escaping the route of not gauging engagements through the mobile phone of a customer, because even when the customers are inside the store, they are probably looking at their mobile screen. So that's the sort of opportunity that stands here. And further research has also shown that the average click-through rate, as I mentioned in the past slide, that so many people are more open to click such contextually aware ads, and the click-through rate for any proximity marketing campaign has found to be higher than that of a Facebook ad or that of a email campaign. So this is how the whole scenario today exists. Previously, it was a pull strategy where there were the promotional campaigns done to lure the customer, and then customer walks into the retail store, and the retail store basically gets the supply from the manufacturer. The push strategy is more about someone creates something, it goes there, and retailer creates awareness to the customer to push the product and bring him into the store. So that's how things are changing. And like Scott Galloway of New York University Stern has stated, brick and mortar stores are the new black in the world of e-commerce. He has stated that going ahead further, pure play e-commerce will not work, that the future of e-commerce lies in omni-channel strategy that blurs online and offline market. So that's the sort of changes we are looking at, we are sitting on. And I would compare here probably it being similar to the kind of revolution that came in 1990s with the computers, in 2000 with Google, and so on. So we are sitting on probably something really that means change, that will change everything for what we do, what the next generation would do in the next decade. So as a brief comparison between the different Bluetooth beacons and Wi-Fi beacon devices, if you are a bit confused regarding the terminology, so there are different options that are currently available in the market when it comes to beacons, like the low energy Bluetooth beacons, the generic Wi-Fi device, and the low energy Wi-Fi beacons. As you would see, proximity detection is really high for low energy Wi-Fi beacons. Permission based can be, all the beacons can be permission based, but the generic Wi-Fi device would of course be more like a channel for just spreading the message out. Power consumption is really low for beacons. Power source can be internal or external for Wi-Fi beacons. Maintenance required is pretty low, deployment cost is cheap, and scalability is pretty high. So that's how beacons are staked against Wi-Fi devices for proximity marketing. So what's the opportunity? As we already discussed how things are changing, and there's one more quote from the Livongo report, that physical world can become a whole new customer engagement channel, just like on the lines of what I pointed out when I quoted the professor from New York's University. So in last 1 year, these are some of the brands that have tried and tested beacons at one or more of their stores: Apple, McDonald's, Tesco, PayPal. Of course, the opportunity is new and the technology is new, but all the brands are definitely gearing up. As you would see, most of the top 10 brands are right here in this list of logos here, the brands that have tested beacons and proximity marketing within the last 1 year. So application areas that have emerged using proximity marketing are not just limited to retail, but restaurant, food chains, retail stores, malls, museums, metro rail systems, educational institutions, and retail banking. One could ask, do any of these make sense for, let's say, how would retail banking could be using beacons, or metro rail system could be using beacons. So we'll go through some case studies here on the further slides, where you could easily see how beacons are being used at some of the most unconventional places, and that's where a lot of magic lies, about innovating once the technology is there, about innovating the use cases or the use for it. And these are some proximity marketing trends on the lines of what I mentioned before, that smartphone owners, 60% of them accept that they probably keep their smartphone at their arm's length always. I mean, 60% is always, and more than 90% is like most of the time and beyond that. So that's how is the frequency, or the engagement that lies as an opportunity for today's uh, retailers. So now, if you are to design a proximity campaign, I come to the second part of this presentation. If you are to design a proximity marketing campaign, how you should be doing it. There are three steps that we provide if you are to develop a proximity marketing campaign. One, define your goal. Two, plan it forward. And three, keep optimizing. I will elaborate more on each of them here as we move forward. So the first step, define your goal. Finding your goal is very important. I mean, not every proximity marketing campaign can be adjudged as something to increase sales. Of course, it could lead to sales, but you have to specify what you're looking for. So are you looking for generating new business, maybe generating new walk-ins, or are you looking for encouraging the ones who already have visited your store, or are you looking for creating an engagement within the store? So these are different goals that you need to think about when you're looking at a proximity marketing solution. Getting new customers is different from increasing revenue, to understand that, and providing customer an experience is different from lead generation. Of course, they all lead to increasing your business, but you have to define what you're looking for. Once you've defined your goal, you have to plan it forward, because each such campaign does not comes in as a quickly done move, but probably requires a lot of meticulous effort at different fronts. It could require you to recognize what are the right beacons to choose, what are the right sort of application to choose, who will be building the application, who will be providing you the beacons. You will need to plan the number of beacons and their locations. If you want to just, let's say, invite people inside the store, then you probably need one beacon. But if your goal is to create an engagement so that users could use indoor navigation, then you need locations, you need beacons at each and every point. So using this, probably you have to design a proximity marketing campaign, like what would go in and what would go out. You need to think about, once you have chosen, let's say, the beacons, then you have to think about the power requirements, how the power would be supplied to it. You have to think about how it would become a part of your overall brand or your overall strategy, complying with your interior designs and aesthetics. Then you have to think about building an application for it, or using an existing application for using the beacons. So those all things have to be brainstormed and finalized. After you've done so, the next step would be keep optimizing, because in our past experience we have found that beacon implementation is really oh, I would say thin sword. So to win on it, basically you require a lot of optimization. You need to get everything right. So probably our advice would be that you start with a pilot, uh, start with one store, not many. Start with a smaller implementation with limited users before marketing it out for everyone. Analyze results, check out how people used the proximity marketing. Did they really get engaged into it? What did they find appealing? What did they find not so appealing? And gather feedback, make changes, keep iterating, and once you are able to get the right combination in terms of the right message, or in terms of the right frequency of messaging, in terms of let's say the right statistics or the kind of threshold of engagements that you want to achieve, then you probably have something golden, and then you should move forward with a more uh, bigger implementation, and an implementation that comes with a greater marketing input into it. So here are some successful case studies that different brands have done in this past 1 year. Like here is a promotion campaign that Coca-Cola did some time back in Norway, where they gave free Coke to all the audience within a picture movie theater, and they found that everyone inside a theater was sent a beacon enabled notification that they could actually claim a free Coke. The purpose for Coca-Cola was to collect data on moviegoers so that Coca-Cola could actually retarget them later for something else. In this case, it was for a free movie ticket. And they found that 60% of people clicked on the advertisements, while 20% went on to redeem the offer for free movie ticket after 1 week. So this shows that probably they were able to find that how context and precision, if done right, could increase your return on investment, or could actually increase your click-through rate multifold, from getting 0.5% to 1%, right away getting 20% or 60% here on your ads. HSBC, one of the leading banks, used Bluetooth for driving their marketing. How they did was that they created an in-bank environment which allowed people to get notifications while they stood in queues, and while they stood within the bank, let's say for different work, they were getting different prompts, and they were able to engage into certain schemes of HSBC. So it was able to create an in-bank engagement for its customers. Hard Rock Cafe, he sent passers on the cafe street, send them coupons that they could use and buy passes for their ongoing event, and they were able to increase um, their coupon rate by up to 30% by using proximity marketing. Sephora, one of the luxury brands, created birthday alerts that they sent through beacons, and then sent later the updates about their latest products, or their training sessions using Bluetooth proximity beacons. So if any person was standing near their beauty store, then he or she could receive messages regarding the services or the offers currently going on. They were able to again report a great increase in footfalls, and overall increase in business of up to 10% using proximity marketing. So these are some of the case studies that we have shared with you here. Mostly we have tried to collect case studies from different spheres of industry and the different use cases. But if you were to search some more successful case studies, you can easily find them on internet, because there's so many brands that are currently engaging and using beacons for their marketing purpose. While we move forward, here are some quick tips for proximity marketing. So if you or your brand plan to do proximity marketing, then here are some quick do's and don'ts. And this is the last part of our presentation, that seek your users' permission before accessing information. This is very, very important, because your campaign should not end up being too invasive. It should not end up being a threat to privacy. So clear cut user permissions are necessary before you start the engagement. Make your notifications more contextually aware than just location. So you should not end up your advertisements just basing on the location of the customer, but more like as Coca-Cola did it, as we saw on the previous slide, that creating a whole engagement into further being able to be contextually aware while you send any notification. Use beacon networks with a pinch of salt. There are a lot of beacon networks that exist which you can use to send your contextually aware advertisement on different apps, but probably use them with a pinch of salt because they are not giving the sort of personalization that comes attached with any proximity marketing campaign, and make the most of notifications by making them beautiful and engaging. So that's another important tip, that whenever you're building a proximity marketing campaign, make sure that your notifications are really engaging, and notification uh, are really enjoyed by the end user, because notifications are the key here. And if you create notifications that no one gets interested to click upon, then the whole campaign fails. Hence, you should really put in a lot of time about creating notifications that are funny to read. You can add fun, or that are creating real value for the user, and make it really interesting for them. So here are some tips for proximity marketing, and this is the last slide. If you have any further questions, feel free to email us on aish.jain@mindbrowser.com. You can call me on +1 408 786 5974, or you can drop a message on the event landing page. We look forward to hear from you for your tips, and any questions you have, feel free to get in touch. We look forward to your feedback. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. We thank you a lot for attending this session. Have a great day. Bye.